Hello and welcome back to another video for Final Fantasy XIV with me, Meoni. This time looking at more items added in patch 7.25. Specifically today we're looking at a hairstyle, we're looking at the Fulsome Forelocks. This is something that can drop from treasure coffers within the Occult Crescent, the new field instance added in 7.25. It appears to be in all of the treasure coffers. I've had reports of it dropping in silver, in bronze, in gold chests, also from the magic pot chests as well. So it seems to be on a pretty open loot table for the hairstyle and seems to be fairly accessible. It doesn't seem to be a particularly rare item. So let's go look at this and demo it on various different race gender combos. Okay, our first port of call, the esthetician, to try this on. Let's put a nice background environment we can see on. So this is Fulsome Forelocks then. A lot of people have made me aware of something I didn't know. Apparently this is the popular hairstyle of particular enthusiasts of a certain type of media, of which I was completely innocent and oblivious to. So the more you know, right? The longer you spend on the internet, the more you know that you didn't think you wanted to know, and now I don't think I want to know. This hairstyle to me is very reminiscent of most of the people I went to college with back in my teens. Personally, a lot of people, both boys and girls, had this hairstyle. It was the in thing to have. This was like the early 2000s in a nutshell. You know, those long frontal fringe covering your eyes as much as possible, so we always looked a little bit moody perhaps. And there were plenty of girls in my college that had this hairstyle as well. They just like cut their long hair short and kept the fringe, and especially on the back with the shaved back there as well. Looks a bit strange on my Makote. There is a little bit of a gap that kind of makes sideburns there because my ears are on the top of my head. But I'm fairly sure that won't be the case for most other races. We're going to look at all of the gender race combinations just as a little example of each. And I think that will be the best way to show this off, but that's where the highlights sit as well. So if we start off with Haya, the typical human design, yeah, it looks a lot better because of where the ears sit on the side of the character's head. That has to be said. There's less attention drawn to the sideburns. They are still fairly prominent though, but yeah, the amount of people that I know that back in college or even late high school looked like this, and they had the exact same hair color dye as well. They had the red highlights. It's pretty remarkable, honestly, to see this. This was a furnishing design entrant and winner from the 2023 design contest for hairstyles, and it's been incorporated into the game. As far as I know, there's not really any real differences between the original art and what it appears in the game. Of course, this is a shorter hairstyle, which might not be everyone's cup of tea. I personally prefer long hairstyles. The curlier the better, the longer the better. I'm still waiting for the day where we get a long hairstyle that goes down to my character's butt. I know it will clip horribly, but that doesn't prevent me wanting it personally. There are plenty of things in this game that already clip massively. Why not just add that one really long hairstyle that, it'll clip, I know, but I'd rather have that as a sacrifice and have a long hairstyle in the game. They need to be brave with that and just put them in. It looks pretty good on Elizin. I tried to make this one look kind of annoyed. Again, using Fantasias is a lot better these days because they last a good amount of time. You pop one and then you get so many amounts of time to actually go into the game, film what you need, come back out, and then you don't have to repop a Fantasia. It's a lot better for me these days. A lot less money is being spent on Fantasias, and they've given quite a few out for free, so these videos don't really bother me as much as they used to. I used to only look at Meoni, like my Makote, without Fantasiaing, but that's not really giving you a good example of what things look like. On Lalafell, it looks pretty cool. Of course, they're small characters, so having this big fringe covering their face, they just completely strip away any kind of visual identifier. I think this is the closest that you're going to get to the original artwork. Like, for example, on this particular Viera example, some of the original artwork that Dandelion, I think I'm translating that correctly, the username that submitted the art originally, here it is, They showed Viviera in the middle there of how they would like it to be distributed, and I think it's pretty accurate. It's nearly a one-to-one representation of what we got in the game. I don't think there are that much differences. Maybe the hair is slightly extended away from the base of the skull on the back there. At the neckline, maybe it's a little bit higher. But apart from that, the fringe is spot on. They've done a really good job of incorporating this, which, like we said before, isn't always the case when it comes to hairstyle designs, right? A lot of people have submitted hairstyle designs. They've been added to the game. And more recently, we've had one example with the curls that wasn't exactly what people expected, including the original designer. And Square Enix even had to go out and say, we're still working on it. This was our, attempt at it, but it ended up being a different type of hairstyle. But they are still working on how they can, incorporate things from real life and concept art into the game. It's not necessarily as easy as me and you think it is. And I'm sure it takes a lot of R&D and a bit of development time to put these in. Hence the fact that this is a hairstyle design from 2023, and we're in 2025 now, finally getting this stuff in the game. One thing I noticed here as well is with Aura with horns. It looks pretty good, obviously filling in the gaps that wouldn't ordinarily be there if your horns were on the top of your head, like with Viera ears and Mikote ears. But you'll also notice some of those sideburn hairs are kind of growing underneath the scales. So depending on what face type you have and what scale type, horn type, is gonna, vary your mileage, to be fair. Obviously, Rogadin, or should I call it Rugadin now, according to the MSQ. Looking pretty good. I can imagine there being some characters added to this game that make use of this hairstyle, quite honestly. And it's very Asahi, isn't it? It reminds me for some reason of Asahi Sass Brutus, just with a slightly more longer fringe. But yeah, it's on the back. I do think of Friar Tuck for some reason from Robin Hood. I don't know if that's just me. It's a bit of a bowl cut on the back. Not really a fan of the back as much as I am the fringe. Again, not a massive short hair enjoyer, but maybe you are. But yeah, if you want to go and do your Southern Horn and explore a bit, you're likely to get this from your treasure coffers. I got this pretty easily from a bronze coffer and a silver coffer. So on the map, there are treasure coffers sort of scattered around the map, and they have set points of spawn, and they do actually respawn as well, which is something I discovered. So you can walk around a place you've already been, and suddenly there'll be a treasure coffer, and you'll be like, haven't I already got this one? And they're unique to you as well. No one else can steal your treasure coffers, so you can loot those. You can also get this, of course, from the magic pots as well, where you feed a magic pot an elixir. There are a series of fates you can do inside there. To do with pots, it'll say in the title, you basically save the pots from disaster from the enemy, the monster attacking them, and then occasionally, if you are lucky and you get gold rating on the fates, they will give you access to feeding the pot. And every time you feed the pot, it will tell you a certain direction, like far, far north, etc. So then you go on your map and you go far, far north until you find something, and then eventually it'll say immediately to the south or something, and then you'll be able to get your loot. And yeah, the hairstyle seems to drop quite highly there. I managed to get 2. If we very briefly look at the hairstyle design contest entry page and winners announcement page for 2023, you'll note that quite a few of the hairstyles have been incorporated into the game, but there are also quite a few that have not. Dandelion's design then the latest of a series of them. I think there's like 5 or 6 off of this page that have been added, but there are also some really nice longer hairstyles that I would love to see in the game incorporated that we've yet to see. Like, look at this beautiful one with the frontal locks there, kind of reminding me a lot like Xenos. I guess I've been put off from that immediately. But yeah, the natural curls is where a lot of the controversy came from. They tried to incorporate that in the game, and it didn't really go as planned. So Square Enix say they're working on still adding that to the game, but we got a slightly different hairstyle that's similar recently, which is not as exact. But yeah, look at some of these hairstyles. There's like a reverse bun there at the back, like a rose-shaped bun. We've got some lovely split color hairstyles here as well. Yeah, there's some good range here That was one of my previous favorites, one of the more recent ones that's been added to the game with the flowers in the hair. Absolutely gorgeous. But again, if you're a short hair enjoyer, there are plenty of those coming soon. And it's nice to see them incorporated on both Hrothgar and Viera at the same time as everyone else. Normally that is not the case, but they have definitely stepped up their game. Now they just need to do the hats as well. Anyway, let me know what you think about these hairstyles, and in particular this one from this patch. And I'll see you all next time for more videos. Bye-bye.